Hello, welcome to another episode of Somewhere Between a film and TV podcast. We are your hosts. I am Daniel Parra.
And I'm Erwin.
And sorry that we're getting this to you late, but I got really sick and we had to postpone, and it's been a while. So
call us a night show, am I right?
Sure.
Why didn't I hear the laugh track playing in the background?
That was really good, man.
Thanks. Oh, there's the laugh track.
Keep it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a full spoiler review for Eternals, because Eternals been out for a week now, and we figure, well, if you're listening to this, so you probably already wanted to watch it when it came out, and you must have by now, right? Unless you're super busy. So we'll go ahead and go straight into spoilers or overall thoughts. It'll be the same structure. It'll be the same thing. But if this is your first time listening, number one, thank you so much. But basically what we like to do is imagine you're walking out of the theater. You want to talk to your friends about the movie you just saw. You get a little bit off topic, but eventually you come back around. And that's what we like to do.
But then you wait more than a week and a half to talk to your best friend about it. And so you get really anxious, even though we might have the same opinion about it. But either way, we still want to talk about it.
I know. So what Erwin is mentioning is the fact that we have a rule that now, which by the way, you partially came up with this rule.
I mean, it makes sense though, but I don't know.
God, I hate myself for coming up with this. That's you.
That's not how I sound.
God, I dislike myself for coming up with this. That's you.
I hear no left track.
We always walk out, and then I end up on the phone with him the next day. I'm like, hey, I saw it, and then he's like, oh, I did too, and then we're like, all right, because usually we'll talk about it for an hour or something after.
Yeah.
But really getting into it though, I want to ask, what were your So, first thing I guess is this elephant in the room this is Marvel's first mixed reviewed movie. I think it's last time I checked, but it could have gone up, it could have gone down a little bit, but I think it was straight up in the middle, 50% on Rotten Tomatoes the last time I saw it.
Outrageous.
Which I find really interesting, especially this one in particular. I don't know. I guess I know what it is about this one, but we'll get really into it further along. But going into this and you seeing that, did you think anything of it? Did it make you any more excited to see it, any less, or what were your thoughts?
I mean, I'm always going to be excited for anything that Marvel Studios puts out. But if anything, I was just more curious on why it was so divisive, and so many people had different opinions about this movie specifically,
Yeah.
And also I think, what was it, the runtime for it as well, for a big cast. So I was just, especially a cast that we've never seen before. By cast I mean characters, characters that we've never seen before, and it's this and for the time it took for it to be made and everything. So I was very I was just still curious about just watching it, but I was still gonna watch it regardless.
Right, yeah, of course. We've always talked about this, both you and I. Marvel, anytime they announce anything, we're never I mean, it's another one. I know you and I both always felt that way about whenever X-Men was coming out.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I remember Dark Phoenix, we were both all right. And then and that
I'm sorry, I forgot. I mean, not forgot, but I just remembered. Movie Pass.
Yeah, right? It's coming back. You saw that?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, because didn't we use Movie Pass for Dark Phoenix or no?
No, it was I believe it was done by then. We paid our hard-earned money to see that film in theaters.
Gosh darn it.
And no, before that, I can't remember the last superhero movie I saw with Movie Pass, because I remember you know how actually I saw Infinity War once with it, because I remember suspiciously around that same time they were by the way, you can't watch these movies more than once, just so you know. And
This is ridiculous. How can I not watch Infinity War once every single day?
I know, which like would have happened, you know.
Yes, it would have.
Like,
And then they wouldn't have gone to like that $1 billion because my money is the reason why they got $1 billion.
it's all right. Movie Pass made Gotti, so they have forever have a pass in my heart. Like
That's crazy.
I love that. Like whenever they announced that, they were like, it was the studio behind Gotti is coming back. I was like, that's awesome. No, I agree with you. Like the runtime, this is the first of this series. I assume it'll be a series, or that these characters will show up again because, well, why wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
And it was 240, and you see that runtime, and you're like, all right, I don't know what this is going to cover, but it's obviously going to be a lot. And this movie has the first narrative structure that sort of deviates from Marvel entirely to me, where I would say Shang-Chi's a little different in its approach, but it reminded me a lot of like Black Panther in that way. It was more singular. It wasn't fully connected to everything, but you know, they would still be like, oh yeah, the Avengers are around.
Oh yeah, it's like that big green guy.
Yeah, like that big green guy that they mentioned in Daredevil and never say his name.
It's like, wow, you have the rights. I don't get it.
I know. And this one, they mention them, but straight up, if you like just cut out the name drops, I'd be like, yeah, this, you could tell me this is Marvel. I would sort of be like, really? And this is a cast of 10 new people, I think, I want to say.
Dang, that's a
And
lot of characters.
I know. I've seen this movie twice now, and going into it the first time, I was like, I'm not apprehensive about this because I love Marvel, so I don't know if you would say we're both coming at this with a bit of bias. But
we do have biceps, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, it was just there.
I guess they sound the same. Biceps.
Buys. I heard buys.
I'm not gonna focus on your joke anymore.
Okay, thanks.
But I loved this. It has like a couple things that we'll get into that I'm sort of like, well, you know. But overall, I thought this was great. I thought it was a great deviation from the formula, and the fact that it's trying something new at all. And I've never had a problem with Marvel sort of sticking to a formula, because you can have a formula as long as like it's different a little bit. Like I wouldn't call Winter Soldier and say, I don't know, Civil War. Actually, well, I guess they're bad example. Winter Soldier and like Shang-Chi, they're not similar, you know. Black Panther and Ant-Man, no, not really.
Did you know Ant-Man's my favorite Marvel movie?
Did you know that Ant-Man is the sexiest man alive?
I believe it, yes. Never ages.
Yeah, no, I usually don't have like an opinion on that, but like with Paul Rudd, I was like, yeah.
It's like, thank you, finally.
Awesome. I hope Will Ferrell's next. But
wow. Yeah, why not?
And then John C. Reilly. Oh man.
I can see. No, I can't.
It would be awesome.
Honestly, if they ever get Sexy Zone Live, it'd be like, wow, actually, maybe I do have a chance.
Nah, John C. Reilly, I get. Like,
what?
I could imagine. I could imagine.
Oh,
He's
man.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, he would wreck it.
Do you know that they cast him as Wreck-It Ralph because his hands are that big?
What?
But Erwin, I want to ask you, what were your like first impressions of this? What did you think about it?
I thought it was really good. Like from beginning to end, I was in it. You know, just learning more. I was like just learning about the characters a lot, like throughout the movie. The way the movie was like, I guess like also like the shots in the movie were like fantastic as well. And trying to think. I mean, of course, like, there were some characters that stood out to me that stood out to me more, and while some other ones like were just very like more in the background in a sense. But overall, I really enjoyed it a lot.
I agree with you with pretty much everything you just said. I think like one of the problems when you have a cast of 10
Mm.
is someone's bound to get sidelined.
No, yeah,
And what's unfortunate for me is the fact that like when you like all the characters and when you like the cast, when some of them are in it less, you're kind of like, all right, well, I want more of them. Like Selma Hayek for me.
mm.
I really like her in this, and I wish she were in it more. She is literally like she is the murder of her is the catalyst for this entire movie to get going,
Yeah,
which is why I was kind of, well, I want more of her, but I like narratively they can't do it.
yeah.
But there's also a scene where they straight up say, "Oh, they're robots," so I'm assuming they can bring them back. They just can't be that same version
Yeah, that's
of
true.
their characters.
I was
Because
thinking
another
like
one
I was thinking like also like I guess because like a lot of this movie like takes back like it goes past and present a lot, and so I can see like in the sequel or something where like they could go back in the past because it's like thousands of years like of them being on Earth, you know, and so like
right,
there's so
yeah,
much like you can still like dive into, and we can like learn from like these characters as well.
yeah. So outside opinion, I talked to my friend Alex about this, and he said that he really enjoyed it, but he was also saying he was like, "Did you think it should have been a show?" And I was like, "Well, I don't mind that it's a movie, but if they were to be able to pace it
Mm-hmm.
per them in each event, but I also love one of my favorite things that movies do sometimes. Loki does it a little bit, but this one does it more so is alternate history.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, I don't know how many people would be into this. Maybe they could do it, but a show about them in like each event was something that was really interesting to me.
Oh yeah.
Like Fastest with the Hiroshima
Mm-hmm.
stuff or the stuff that they do, and I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to try, with Barry Keoghan in the like whenever it's sort of in the middle, whenever right before they all let them go, and Selma Hayek's like live your lives.
Oh yes, yeah.
Do you agree with any of that? Or
I mean, I feel like you can always argue with any movie saying like, "Oh, if it was a show, it would like it'd be better." So it's always hard for me to go like, it's like yes right away. But I feel like it's easier to say that just because like the amount of characters, and I feel like, of course, like you can see like every episode, just like dive into every single character, learn about their story and this and that. But overall, it's just like I think the problem, like I guess like I don't know, like I guess like the hard part about this was just the fact of like trying to like explain and then like try to like sympathize with every character in this 3 hour runtime, but while still pushing like
right,
the
yeah,
story as well. And so I feel like if it came down to the show itself, you, I feel like you would have some. It'd be like another season where it's just like some episodes are just better than others, while other episodes are just very like bland.
yeah. I think it would just depend on like what your thoughts are in each character.
Yeah.
Which, out of all of them, did you like have a favorite one that was introduced?
Um, I Fastos, is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, Brian Terry Henry's character.
Yes, I like
Yeah.
his character a lot. What's her name? Makari.
Oh yeah, Lauren Ridloff. The
Yes.
which something that was cool about that I was reading was that the search to learn, I don't know what statistic this was, if it was on Google or something, but
Mm-hmm.
the search to learn sign language was up 250% or something like that.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
But I love whenever you read percentages like that. Like I was watching the first, no, was it the first or the second? The Raimi movies, the Spider-Man ones, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like crime is up 75%. You're like, what does that mean? Where? How? Why? But
I want Spider-Man.
he stole his suit.
Yes, he did. He really did. It
No,
looked good on him.
she's one of my favorites. Like, actually, I really liked Lauren Ridloff in that quite a bit. Honestly, oh well, I mean, I'm biased here, but I love Kumail Nanjiani. So
Oh my gosh. I just...
yeah,
Oh, can we talk about something where I didn't think... Because I've been seeing it a lot, and just, like, I just want to, like... I don't know, just, like separate these two, right? Like, there's a character who's funny, and then there's comic relief,
right, yeah,
right? And so when I see, like, his character, Kingo... he was a funny character, right? And that's how he plays. And I was like, oh, Camille Nanjiani always played like that funny character, right?
yeah, yeah.
And like I hear a lot of people say like he's like the comic relief, and I'm like, no, he's not. I didn't think he was a comic relief. Like his like assistant was the comic relief.
I agree with you. It's really hard to separate a funny character and someone who says funny things. It's kind of an archetype, like his dynamic with his butler that they have. I want to say his name was like Karun or something like that.
Yeah.
He is the comedic relief. Their banter with each other. He's the reason that Kumail Nanjiani gets to be funny, is because he gets to play off of him.
Yes.
Which, that's part of his personality. I think it's the sort of same thing as... I'm trying to come up with an example that's also within the MCU. Like, for example, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and his assistant Jarvis. Their interplay is funny, but Robert Downey Jr.'s character, Tony Stark, as a singular person, is just like, his personality is to be snarky and kind of a dick, but also funny. And that's like part of him, but he's not the comedic relief of his own movie, you know? It's just his exchange with people, usually.
Yeah.
But I want to backtrack to something you said. This movie is shot wonderfully. I don't know. Have you ever seen another Chloe Zhao movie before?
No, I have not.
So neither have I, and I've really been meaning to watch Nomadland ever since it. Like I every year I like to try and watch all of the Oscar nominees, all of them. But last year I didn't get to, and that one won Best Picture, I believe. So, but I've heard her filmmaking style described as naturalistic and very personal. So that kind of immediately makes her a really interesting choice for a movie this big. Which is why I find that this one is very... I'm not going to call it calm, because there are action scenes, of course. But it's very... very sort of focused on its characters. Like, I feel like it's focused on their interactions with each other more than a lot of these types of movies are. Did you notice anything different in terms of like the filmmaking style here compared to, I guess superhero movies in general, but in the MCU more specifically?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess just like the way, like the story itself, how it's structured. Because a lot of the MCU films, like, you know, they start from like one point and go straight to, like, you know, all the way to the end, like what the story is trying to get to. Well, this one I felt like at one point I felt like it was just jumping around, you know. I felt like it was just like dancing around like to what the problem was. And then once we got to the problem, like once we figured out what the problem was, it was still like just trying to jumble around, trying to figure out like how to fix that problem, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's because it's also just with like the time jumps, like back and forth, and you're just still learning about the characters itself as well, and then like how much they've like how they were beforehand, how much they've like things changed, and so like it was just like it was a different type of pacing with this movie, because it felt like, I don't know, it wasn't slow, but like it just definitely took more time to tell it.
No, I agree. it's always really hard to like distinguish slow
Mm-hmm.
between deliberate, like
Yeah.
what's on purpose and what's not.
I always think
I
about Silence. Like Silence was a slow movie, but
Right, yeah.
I felt like it was meant to be slow.
Yeah, like you are meant to be taking your time with all of these people,
Yes.
which is funny. So, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but we'll talk about it right now. The the inspiration, or at least part of the inspiration behind this, specifically more with like Icarus, Chloe Zhao said, is she is a huge fan of Zack Snyder's Man of Steel,
Yes.
and
It's good. It's good.
which
Finally.
is I know, which
we
is really
finally
fun. I
found
mean,
we finally found a third person.
I know, which I mean, I like that movie quite a bit. Like, I always tell you how much I love it until the third act, when I think it just kind of like it doesn't derail, but
Yeah. It doesn't compare to like the rest of the movie. And
yeah.
it just becomes like another just final act for like a superhero movie kind of thing.
And it's funny watching it
Mm-hmm.
again, like after I'd read that, because, well, it's kind of structured the same way, and it's kind of filmed in like that sort of, I don't want to call it far away or anything,
Yeah.
but it's very, very noticeable visually in terms of difference. Like Man of Steel is filled with shots of a young Superman, like making his passing his hand through the cornfields or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's filled with shots like that. And so is this. There's a whole lot of like just very slow, focused shots on people walking or
Mm-hmm.
taking in the scenery. And I find that really funny to add to the discourse, because there's this whole discourse that I don't really particularly like, that's like, oh, DC is better because they're more serious, and MCU is bad because they tell jokes, which is annoying, and I don't like it. And or DC's bad because they are serious, and Marvel is better because they tell jokes. Which, I mean, like, DC is more hit or miss. That's certain, in my opinion.
They haven't been missing lately, so
No, no. I mean, I liked Wonder Woman 84.
I liked it. I don't really remember it,
Yeah.
but I liked it.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah. Dude, I couldn't really tell you what happened. I don't
I'm
think I've
trying
seen
to.
it
I'm
since.
trying to remember right now. It's.
Pedro Pascal's amazing.
Oh
in it,
yes,
and that's
yes,
what I
yes,
remember, yeah.
yes. He was. Did I see that with you?
Yeah, we saw it after Christmas, I think. Like,
Oh,
the
we
next day.
did. Huh.
Yeah. And we were all like, it's alright. And I
Yeah.
guess we all moved on.
Dang.
Nah, I guess I never like said who my favorite one is, but I loved Don Lee from Train to Busan, Gilgamesh,
Damn, I wish he was in it more.
and I wish he was in it more. Yeah,
Sucks. I love his name so much. Gilgamesh.
yeah.
It
One
sounds like a
person-
Soul
I think-
Calibur name. Soul Calibur Gilgamesh.
Did- Well, they're all based on. Well, I think it's funny because, like, you know how it does alternate history. All the gods are based on their names
Mm-hmm.
in the Marvel universe, but they are actually the gods themselves. Like, Angelina Jolie's Athena is Athena, and she's another one that I wish was in it more, because she's great in it, and I would like to see more of her. I'd like to see more of pretty much all of these people. Going into it, I didn't really know that Gemma Chan was, I would argue, the main character. She's in it the most, I think.
Yeah, I would say so too. I think because I don't know, because I felt like at one point though, it felt like everybody had like a good amount of screen time, and then I think it's just like at the very end though, for sure it was more focused on Gemma Chan, just because like she had like the ability to talk to like a celestial,
Yeah.
and so that's when I felt like okay, I guess she's like the main character we follow. Because at first it seemed like it would be like Icarus,
Right, yeah.
but eventually it was like her.
Oh, another thing that's great here. There's no real distinct antagonist, which I kind of like. There are sort of three, I guess. Icarus, but not up until like the third act, really.
Mm-hmm.
And then even then, he's just sort of doing it because he sort of has a belief that's different than the other people.
Yeah.
And which is why I love that. As much as I love Kumail Nanjiani, and I wish that he was, there.
Yes, where was he? He just
I
left, and like that's what, okay. And also that didn't make sense to me because it's like, oh wait, never mind. I guess I just thought of it right now. Because didn't like Fastos he made bracelets, right, for everybody?
Yeah.
But like, how come like I guess like we didn't get to see Camille, like Kingo's character, like his way of like I guess like giving his power to defeat the Celestials as well, but and everyone else did.
All they really said about that is he walks out. He's like, "I still agree with Icarus, but I refuse to fight you guys. I'll see you later." And then he doesn't show up until the end of the movie.
Dang.
Which is like, I kind of admire that because it's a really weird move that I've never seen a movie like this do.
Yeah.
Usually they're all there,
Yeah.
So it's just such a weird thing that I was like, I like that specifically because it's something I've never really thought about.
Mm-hmm.
So a character deciding, no, I don't want to fight is kind of interesting for a movie like this to do.
Yeah.
But Richard Madden's great as that character too, Icarus. And then there's Arishem, and I guess that one deviant that's played by Bill Skarsgård.
Oh yes.
Who has a pretty cool fight with Angelina Jolie, but he doesn't really do much to affect the overall narrative. So I wouldn't really call him that much of an antagonist.
No, yeah. Honestly, I was kind of glad that like the deviants weren't the antagonists because they just like they were just like monsters, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like I think they could have gone that route, and it would have still been like the earlier Marvel movies where they sort of had a villain problem.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, oh, it's great, and then they'd be like, what about the villain? And you'd be like, well,
they're there.
They're there.
Yeah, they're the villain.
There's nothing negative to say, but there's also nothing like positive, which they've really fixed their antagonist problem lately. Like Tony Leung is amazing, and before him was Black Widow. I liked Taskmaster, although I guess the villain of that was not like amazing.
Yeah,
but
I wish I was
also
maybe like if that villain was like shown more during that movie, then.
Yeah, well, part of like the issue with that specifically in Black Widow is you can't show him until the third act because of what they're doing.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Which I understand, sort of.
I guess because it's hard for me to like care. Okay, I'm not saying like I care about the villains, but like in a sense like like understand their motives and then like understand like the way they're feeling about it.
Yeah.
And
no,
so
I mean,
like
you'd like to, right?
Yeah, and so like I guess with Taskmaster you didn't really understand. It was just like a robot in a sense, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Well, that's why I bring up, I guess his name's Mandarin all the time. It's because you understand literally everything.
Yes.
He wants, and you feel bad for him, and you, want that character to succeed, even though he's kind of the villain, but also you understand where he's coming from, sort of.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you about there's I know you and I are both huge Game of Thrones fans, so there's one scene kind of early on that I thought was awesome with
oh yeah, I came to the theater and like saw the movie and I saw that scene. It was great.
No, I forget that Kit Harington is like what, 5'7"?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I definitely forgot about his height. I was just like, oh yeah.
It was just funny to me.
No, because like I noticed it too. Like there were some shots where they try to make like Gemma Chan like the same height as him or even taller.
Yeah.
Just by like angles, right? And then like whenever and there's like another shot where like she's taller than him, and then like they would be like the same height, and it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I have no idea how tall she is, but I know how tall he is, so I thought that was funny. And I can't claim that I knew what on earth his post-credit scene was until I looked it up. I was like, who is he supposed to be?
Oh yeah, I don't really know.
And
Yeah, I didn't really know much about it as well.
and the first time I saw this, I also didn't know this either, but that voice at the very end of the second end credit scene was Blade, which is awesome. But
I'm glad they
also,
said like who it was because it's just like you really don't know. Because at first I
yeah.
thought it was like Jeffrey Wright's character in What If.
No, that'd be. I thought so too. You and I like
Yeah.
even mentioned because we talked very briefly about it, and you're
Mm-hmm.
because I told you, my friend or our friend Dakota, he was like, it's Nick Fury. I was like, why would they tease that and not show him though? That makes no sense.
Yeah,
Like,
because it has to be someone like we haven't seen yet.
yeah. And I guess Mahershala Ali has a very distinct voice, I would say.
Yeah.
But the oh, so we offhandedly mentioned this a couple weeks ago in one of the episodes. You were like, "Oh, I'm not on Twitter right now because you told me about the spoilers that are on there." I was talking about this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I was talking about the first post-credit scene, which had Harry Styles in it. Like for whatever reason, whenever the reactions for this were coming out, someone out there, I think it was Variety, decided to tweet out what the end credit scene was for
Great.
who knows what reason, which is kind of weird because Marvel's usually pretty good about that, and usually so is the press. But that aside, it was funny though because me going in, I knew that he was going to be in this, and I was like, okay,
That's the only reason why I watched the movie. To see Harry
Harry
Styles.
Styles.
Yes.
we're good. I was about to bring this up. I guess I don't know what he looks like because
What?
if he hadn't shown up during the first post credit scene, I didn't know who that was. I would have been like, who? Because I would have just known that was Thanos' brother, who is questionably not purple. But
You're not purple.
you guys cannot be related.
You have hair.
But
He didn't.
I think it's cool. He was really good in not 1917, Dunkirk.
Dunkirk.
I was about to two different. Well, I guess they're similar. That's why I got them confused. But 1917's better. I'm
Oh yeah.
just saying.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say. I was like,
Yeah.
I like 1917 more.
Yeah.
Who directed
That's
that? Sam Mendes.
Yeah, Sam Mendes.
Yeah.
Of American Beauty and Skyfall fame.
Yes.
One of those is much better than the other.
Okay.
Not getting into the fact that I think American Beauty is incredibly overrated, and I think that's one of Erwin's favorite movies.
Yeah.
He likes the plastic bag.
What would it? You would honestly direct a whole plastic bag. I just know it.
I would do it?
Yes.
That can't be true.
Okay, either you or Colton.
Our friend Colton is also known for making... Hey.
You're like making weird things. Wait, I have to direct those weird things.
Yeah. I was about to... I had to stop myself. Yeah, I was like, oh no, I'm telling on myself. But yeah, I do direct short films every once in a while, which cool stuff is we're gearing up for another one pretty soon, so I'm happy about that, and hopefully it goes well. But did you think anything of that? Did you like that?
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm still thinking about American Beauty right now. In the bag.
The Harry Styles thing.
Not really. I mean, I guess like since I don't really read comics a lot, and so like when stuff like that happens, I always tend to like just do my research and just figure out like, all right, who is this character? What does this character do? How will it somehow impact the story? What will it bring us? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what typically happens. But I mean, he's a pretty cool character. I just want to see like, or like I guess like Harry Styles. Like I guess I'm just wondering like how different and like what's he gonna bring to
Erwin's
like the story,
Erwin's like, yes, Professor, will this be on the next test?
What are you talking about?
you were like, I need to do my research.
Yeah, I mean,
Excuse me.
When I study more for Marvel post-credit scene than my actual exams.
Honestly, yes.
Yes. Who was that voice? Was that Blade? Was that the Watcher?
Excuse me, sir. Will the history of Star Fox be on the next multiple choice test?
Mr. Sunday Movie said yes.
I love them, by the way.
Yes,
They're awesome.
They're amazing.
I like speaking of Game of Thrones connections. It's funny. I feel so bad whenever I can't pronounce people's names, but it's like Ramin Djawadi or something. But he's the composer for Game of Thrones, and he's also the composer for this movie. And I like the score for this movie quite a bit too. Usually with Marvel Phase 2, Phase 1, outside of the exception of like I want to say Brian Tyler and whoever does the score for like Guardians of the Galaxy, which I'm honestly it's probably him, and Michael Giacchino for Doctor Strange. Usually the scores I'm not like too like focused on, but they've really upped their game in that particular aspect too. Like one of the last ones I also noticed was Loki. That one was amazing.
Oh yes.
But yeah, no, it was funny like thinking about the Game of Thrones connections, like Richard Madden and
Kit
Kit
Harington.
Harington. Yeah.
No, because it's crazy. Because it's like I guess like in the show, the last time like they saw one another was like season 1, and like the first like 1 or 2 episodes, wasn't it?
Oh my God, really?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Because like after that, like they didn't see each other at all.
That's crazy.
Right?
I would rewatch that, but it is very long, and
Yes.
no one's interested in rewatching it with me. So, who
I
hasn't
mean,
seen
yeah,
it
Daniel doesn't
before?
like to watch shows that are really long.
No, I
Right,
love to watch. I'm
Because
very specific about it, but
yeah, if it's not cartoonish, then he won't watch it.
that's not even
Yeah,
true.
he only
You know
watches
it's not
cartoons.
true. What? That's not true.
Guys, he watches anime.
So do you.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
We're about to cover stuff in a couple of months when it starts coming out. What are you gonna do? Be like, I didn't see this.
I am here to support my friend Daniel. That's it.
Oh yeah, I love that. I didn't watch it. I loved it though. I definitely didn't see it though.
I don't need to watch something in order to put my opinion on it.
You guys should definitely not watch Jujutsu Kaisen, says Erwin.
You guys should watch it.
It is definitely not great, says Erwin.
I don't know what to say.
You said it. So
anyways,
yeah.
so Shang-Chi.
What?
I don't
No,
know.
we're doing that later. You know what? I guess we could talk about that here. Why not? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we brought it up a couple of times.
yeah. So we were originally gonna do a separate episode for that, but we could just do it right now.
Right here, right now, an exclusive, and somewhere in between.
I thought you keep getting our name wrong.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna do the rock rap.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, that was pretty cool though. Whenever people started rapping that at like the red carpet or something for the movie.
For Eternals?
No, for Red Notice.
I was like, why on earth were they?
Where would you see The Rock in the Marvel movies though?
As Black Adam in the DC movies.
No, I'm saying the Marvel movies.
No, I understood the question.
Oh.
Oh, before we move on to that, I do want us to give our final verdict and score. And actually, I don't know if you've even thought about this at all, but like, where would you try and place it in terms of the overall? Like, I know that there are like 26.
Shoot! Oh my
now.
gosh! I have to look at it.
Yeah. So if you don't want to think about it now, we could probably like I said, we could make that a whole episode at one point.
I would like to do that. Yeah, I would rather do that as an episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely do like a Marvel from best to worst, probably around the time Spider-Man comes out. That sounds like that'd be a fun thing to do.
I know Spider-Man.
Probably leading up into it, and yeah, let's do that right before. So give your overall general thoughts, your score, and we'll move on to Shang-Chi.
I'd say 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this movie. I want to see more of the characters. Why do I sound so robotic, Daniel? Why haven't you stopped me?
I didn't stop you.
I said, why haven't you?
Oh, well, you needed to explain. I love this. Actually, I wanted to say in terms of general narrative problem, like, because this is something I did want to say. There's maybe one too many, like, we're going to stand here and explain this for a while, like, types of scenes. Just, like, one, though, I think. Like, it was around the point where they're explaining, but the thing is, all of it's so cool and it's presented in such a way that I'm like, how much does that matter to me? The scene where Arishem is explaining the creation of the Eternals, I thought was really cool. It just went on for like a long time, and then the next scene is followed up by them like talking about what they all just heard. So that's about it for me. Just maybe one general too many like exposition scenes, but it's not enough for me to be like, I didn't love this. Like, it's one narrative issue. Like, that's about it. And I loved this.
You saw Beauty and the Beast, 1946?
Are you on Letterboxd?
I'm in my room.
All right. Since Erwin doesn't like it when I do decimal points for some reason, I will give 4.5 out of 5.
There we go.
If it were up to me, I'd say 4.2. But whatever.
What does that even mean? 4.2.
It makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
You're wrong. So let's move on into Shang-Chi, which we'll do full spoilers for. We bring this up, or I guess I do, quite a bit. Which it's funny because you and I just never really talked about this. Like, you were like, I saw Shang-Chi, and I was like, yeah, it was great, right? And you're like, yeah.
That's so true. We didn't really talk about that one.
I know, but it is, right? Like,
yeah, it was really good. Especially for like a standalone film.
Yeah, I legitimately think it's in my top 5 MCU movies. I do think it is the origin story kind of done pretty much the best they could do it, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really like Simu Liu, which I don't know if you've ever seen Kim's Convenience before, but he's really good in it. And it's cool seeing him be in something huge, you know.
He doesn't look that big to me.
He's pretty big. He's more athletic than in terms of build, I think.
Yeah,
definitely.
Still bang him.
Jacked. I mean, well, like I feel like it's like in a Marvel contract. Like, hey, you're about to be in this.
Oh, really? Because Camille wasn't shirtless at all, and everyone was hyping him up about his transformation.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I think that was just up to him, though.
Yeah, that's true.
They're all jacked, so like, you know. Well, I mean, most of them are. 2 of them aren't.
Who are you trying to call out?
No one in particular. By the way, I really like that. Like, the Don Lee is just huge, like extremely strongman type build, which is cool. He was the Gilgamesh character. I like that a lot.
Yes, me too.
Because it makes sense for a character like that. Like, he's supposed to be the warrior of whatever they said. It was something along those lines.
I like that song from Imagine Dragons. Guys, I like Imagine Dragons. I don't care.
Everyone's going to stop listening to us because you just said that.
I hate Imagine Dragons.
They're going to be like, oh, this fucking guy likes Thunder by Imagine Dragons. Song's terrible.
I mean, Thunder's not my favorite.
Oh, yeah, Erwin, what's your favorite Imagine Dragons song?
I don't want to do this right now, Daniel.
You like Nickelback?
What? No.
You like Limp Bizkit?
I don't even know what that is.
Well, I guess that's my fault then.
Wait, what's Black Widow? Okay, not the movie. I mean, like, what score did I give Black Widow?
What? I don't know. You tell me.
Shit. Let's see.
What is Black Widow?
What is Black Widow?
It's a movie starring Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh. You may have seen it. I'm not sure.
I have, yes.
You mentioned that you did earlier. Um, so the only thing that I would say, so I'm a huge fan of old school martial arts movies. I really really wish that they do more of that, like in the next one,
Mm-hmm.
because I love the powers and everything, but the stuff on the scaffold, that fight is amazing. The bus sequence is incredible. That type of hand to hand, really like letting you see the choreography that they have. I'm a huge fan of. But also the third act has, I love dragons, huge fan of dragons. So anytime a dragon shows up,
Dude, but like,
I
yeah, that dragon was amazing.
yeah, it's got a, did like a lot of the mythical creatures and stuff remind you of Pokemon? It reminded me of
No, because I'm not a nerd, so.
one in particular. Like reminded me of is it? I'm gonna get it wrong. So like Vulpix or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yes, yeah, the fire type Pokemon. I mean, I don't play Pokemon or anything, but yeah, the fire type.
We've been talking about Marvel for an hour, but I'm not a nerd, just so you know.
I'm not, guys. Also, I don't like Imagine Dragons.
Oh, thank God. I would have been like, hello, on our next episode, this is my host, someone else.
Thunder.
They hate Imagine Dragons,
Guess.
which is why they're the host now. It's a person I picked up off the street. It was the only qualification they needed to have. Did anything in this stand out to you? Like, I found it sort of. It's funny because I just said that Eternals was more distinct than, say, some of the other Marvel movies, but I found this one kind of like that too. And if it's similar, I think it is similar in the way that it is Marvel literally at its best
Mm-hmm.
in what they do. What did you think?
I think for me that really stands out was like the relationship with the father and the son, and especially because like it's like what you said before though, like how Marvel's been like stepping up with their villains lately, and like so I love this villain in this movie so much because it's like you like besides the fact that you understand his motive, but like, you just have like you can connect well with the villain, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's what like every time like you would want to see the villain like more like screen time wise and everything. And so when we got the chance to see I'm blanking on his name, like the actor's name. Tony
Oh, Tony Leung.
yeah. Um I don't, he did like an amazing job in this, and it was just like I don't know, like it was just like it was a great movie and I loved it so much. And then like
Yeah.
and I loved like the fighting sequences like you said as well. And
Right.
and I love dragons. Now imagine
Me
dragons. Dragons.
Just dragons.
Yes. But
Yeah,
imagine seeing dragons.
All right. I.
I hate you sometimes.
What do you want me to say?
I don't know.
What's your favorite Imagine Dragons song?
I don't have one. I don't listen to them.
All right. What's your favorite Pitbull song?
How dare you?
It's a trick question. There shouldn't be any.
Your question, he's dead. It's like,
For
yo,
those of you who don't know, Pitbull is bald, which makes him the
What?
worst artist you could think of.
I like Pitbull.
No.
Okay.
You should call him Pitbald. I like that.
Doesn't feel good, does it?
I like laughing at myself. It's alright, we're both bad. No, so Tony Leung's popular, like, Hong Kong cinema, I believe. Like, one of the most popular movies he's in of all time is In the Mood for Love, which I have to admit I still need to see. And he's been very popular in that particular part of cinema, and now he's in American movies, which is awesome. He's incredible in this. And yet another one of those situations where in the movie I understand, I'm like, I get that you need to kill the villain sometimes, but like I want him to stay.
No, yeah,
you know.
that's true.
But his whole story is sad. It's one of those villain motivations where you understand, because is he really a villain? No, he's just sort of a misguided father who lost his wife, and you feel bad about that
Mm-hmm.
because you understand where he's coming from, and the whole idea that he's misguided and he thinks he could get her back because the whatever they were called, those like demon things that were in the cave, which by the way, awesome design on that monster too. I thought that looked really cool. And oh, you know what? Another person I love in this, I think Aquafina is great. She's yet another
Oh yeah.
comedian that sort of, you need to know how to use her, but when you do know how to use her, she's amazing. And I think it's funny because a lot of people I have just talked about how they don't want them to set up a romantic relationship with her and Simu Liu's character in it, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind that necessarily, but I do think that they have a great chemistry with each other.
Yes.
And I want to see whatever she ends up being. Like, if she ends up being yet another one of the Archers in the Marvel Universe, because they're like, with Haley Steinfeld in the Hawkeye show, I guess there'll be like 3. Which, she's cool, and I'd like to see her in more of these movies. Same goes for, how do you say her name? Fala Chen, I want to say. I feel bad because I can't remember if. But the person who plays her sister, or his sister, I think is great. And I like whatever they're setting up in the end credit scenes there, too.
Oh yeah. Kind of like I guess like a modern, like take with like what her father's business was.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, which, we haven't mentioned this. So, let's get into our thoughts on Iron Man 3 really quick. Because
Oh, Iron Man 3. Don't get me started.
so I think Iron Man 3, me personally, is the best of the 3 Iron Man movies. It is incredible, and I love Shane Black, and it has one of the best twists in superhero movies, just so you know. But
I love the first Iron Man more than Iron Man 3.
Hello, this is Somewhere Between. With the new host. But no, I mean 1 and 3 are great. I like 2. I'll say that. There's not a single Marvel movie I dislike, but you like 3 though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do you say it like that? You're like, yeah.
I didn't. Whatever. Don't make fun of me. But do you like the twist in that, or what do you think of it?
I'm trying to remember. Yes, I like the twist, but I feel like, I guess like after the twist happened, and then we're like, I guess like, okay, this is our main villain. What's his name? Adrian Kill. I don't remember his name.
Aldrich Killian.
Yes. I guess like whenever he became the villain, I guess like whenever he was like the main villain instead, it was kind of like, it felt like it just went down, like in terms of just like, because like I guess like what the villain was portraying in the Mandarin in that movie, Iron Man 3, was like, it just looked at someone so like strong and just like powerful, and so then like when you got to like I'm blanking on his name again,
Aldrich Killian.
Aldrich Killian.
Right.
Whenever it got to him, it was just like he was still like a good character. It's just like it just wasn't like, I guess like the strong character that they built up beforehand with the Mandarin. You know, like before the twist happened. So like that's what like gets me. I'm just like, dang. You know.
Which it's sort of funny because that movie has to sacrifice its main villain to make that twist work.
No, yes.
And which is the other funny thing about that is you get it here. Like he is the
Yes.
Mandarin, you know.
Yeah, and then, yeah. Looking at it now, like also looking at it right now though, and like getting the villain that we did now, it's just like insane because like basically it's like the villain that like I guess like could have happened I guess in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
If we got on it, but that's insane.
And no, following up on that, I love Ben Kingsley as Trevor Slattery. He's the comedic relief. Like we talked about what
Oh yes.
We talked about what the comedic relief is. It's him and his weird little faceless thing that he carries around. I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me. I was about to call it Norbit, but that's
wow. Rude.
Hit movie Norbit. Have you seen Norbit?
I've seen it plenty of times.
You've seen the film Norbit.
Why do you say it like that? I've seen Norbit, guys. I like Norbit. I like Grown Ups. I like the first Grown Ups movie. I don't care anymore.
Do you actually like Norbit, the movie Norbit?
Yes.
All right.
I don't know why, Daniel. I just do. I can't deny it. I'm not gonna complain about it because I'm like.
I showed our friend Aaron the trailer for that, like Norbit.
Oh my god. Okay, trailers back then though were the best.
They were so funny. Legitimately, I was telling him, I was like, "This is one of the worst trailers I've ever seen," and he was like, "It looks funny." And I was like, "No way," but Norbit is in the MCU, so we're on topic talking about it.
What? Where? Oh yeah, the little thing.
Yeah, Iron Man 2. He's one of the Avengers. But no, I mean, what do you want me to do? Say something funny right now. I dare you.
Iron Man 3.
Okay.
Whew. Actually, I was looking at your list of ranked Marvel movies, right? And so
Okay.
I'd like to judge something real quick.
All right.
Right here, you say Loki and WandaVision are better than Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
You think Shang-Chi is better than Thor Ragnarok?
I might think that. I haven't seen Thor Ragnarok in a while. That list is so malleable. Like I change things.
Daniel
all
loves
the time.
Iron Man 3 so much, yet he puts Black Widow above it.
I liked Black Widow a lot. What do you want me to do?
What do you want me to do? It's the gabagoo. Sorry, I don't know.
Out of the 3 Marvel movies this year so far, what would you say is your favorite? Like Black Widow.
Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Eternals?
Spider-Man: No Way Home.
How about the one that you have seen?
Oh, okay. Shang-Chi.
Okay, yeah.
I love Shang-Chi. I'm probably gonna watch it tonight.
Yeah, no, Shang-Chi, I flat out don't really have many issues with, like, honestly.
No, like, I feel like the only thing, I don't know, I can't really think, like, any issues with it, because I would probably say, like, maybe, like, the fact of, like, that spirit or whatever, like, that, I guess, like, that dragon or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, potentially being, like, the bad guy and, like, it persuading it, but at the same time, I'm just, like, in a sense, like, I don't really buy that, you know?
Mm.
So, I don't know, but other than that, though, like, I love this movie entirely.
Yeah, I was telling you earlier, I just wish I mean, it's paced very well, so adding another action scene or something maybe, like, might derail it, but I really wish there was, like, at least one more hand-to-hand martial arts type scene. Like, there's I almost felt like they were gonna do it. There's a scene kind of in the middle where they're back at, like, home, and he's in the training area where they show flashbacks of him growing up.
Oh yeah.
And I really felt like there was supposed to be an action scene or something there, or I just wanted one. because they also, whenever they all get their skill set, they have really cool things that they do. I think his sister with the that thing that she uses, I don't know what the weapon's called, but like that the like sort of blade thing on the end of a rope, kind of, yeah, which is really cool, and I want to see more of that. But it's yet another testament to Marvel, where when it's over, I'm like, all right, when is the next thing that I get to see any of these people in?
True.
Like, there's never really once been any of these movies where I'm like, I don't need to see more of that character, except for maybe like Iron Fist or something.
Oh, I was just saying the same thing.
he can.
We've only seen only you and I have seen like the first season though, right? Like we're the only two audience members. That's what I'm trying to say.
I've heard season 2 it gets better, but I don't. Which is really funny that Danny Rand, like Iron Fist, we bring up at all because from if I'm like remembering correctly, him and Shang-Chi are like best friends in the comic books, which is like, hey man, your friend can like fuck off. But if they get the same actor, he's not even bad. I feel bad for saying, but like,
it's just the writing.
Yeah.
Man.
They just like did the whole Batman Begins thing, but like made it not work. Yeah. Where he goes and he trains martial arts and then he comes back and you're sort of like, why do I care about this dude like at all? And they never give you a reason to.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, another person I like in like Iron Fist though is Jessica Henwick. I think she'd be cool if they ever decide to bring any of the Netflix people in. I really wouldn't mind. Like I'm sure Marvel Studios would know how to use that actor as Iron Fist and know how to make him interesting.
Yes, I want that to happen.
Or like, I know everyone wants this, and I do too. Charlie Cox as Daredevil in anything again.
Yes, please. I've seen all 3 seasons, so I can say that I want to see more of that character.
I still need to see season 3.
Also, I want to watch the second season of Punisher. I just realized that.
Oh yeah, that I didn't realize existed until last week.
Yeah, I always forget. But like, there's like that meme with him, and I think that's like from the second season. So.
Or Mr. Bernthal's going absolutely bonkers, just nuts, just absolutely crazy.
Going no, wait. Like freaking Jack says all the time.
Oh yeah.
Jack's Daniel's roommate.
Jack is Erwin's roommate. And that pretty much, well, you know what, give your score, and then we'll pretty much wrap up our thoughts.
I say 4.5.
All right.
Why do you say like that? Why do you give me like those type of remarks? Like I always like I say something, you're like, huh, okay, fine. I'm just like, yo, bro, that's just my score.
I'm wrapping you up.
No, it's just the way you said it. You're like, oh, okay. Like, you're like, all right, like, because I feel like.
Fine. Okay, give your score again. Give your score again right now.
I'm kind of scared.
Do it again.
4.5.
Out of what, Erwin?
4.5. 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Oh my god! Wow, Erwin! Holy shit!
Wow, I feel like I'm in Seinfeld.
4.5 out of 5. That's crazy.
The number one movie in the world.
Nah, I mean, I would say I'm on the same page, but I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 out of 5, which, like, who cares? Whatever. I did what I did. There's no taking it back. So, I believe up next, Erwin and I talked about, we want to try and do the Spider-Man movies before No Way Home comes out, and then we just said that we'll probably do a Marvel from worst to best, best to worst, whatever you want to call it, which could probably be a lot of fun, and I'm sure will lead to some sort of argument. And
Arguing.
Hey, thank you.
I don't want to argue.
Thank you guys so much for listening. You can find us on social media. Where can they find you, Erwin?
On Twitter.
All right.
All right, guys, don't follow me on Twitter. I don't really use Twitter. Follow me on Instagram.
Can you Give her.
Para 32 Para.
That's mine.
Oh.
Yours is at Erwin.Trejo, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, you can follow him at Para32Para and me at Erwin.Trejo. It's backwards. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you next time.